have a tremendous impact on the strategic balance as well.
Israel knows it must battle Hamas on its own turf, in urban areas latticed with explosive traps and riddled with secret tunnels. And Hamas will draw on the experience of Iran-backed Hezbollah, which ravaged Israel's armor in 2006. All the while trying to protect the lives of at least 130 hostages that Hamas says they will kill if Israel's attacks continue. Dealing with violent groups backed by Iran, a country that's bent on destroying Israel and building a nuclear weapon that could do just that. Sam Kiley, CNN.
Hamas officials say 2 journalists have been killed and a third has been wounded in an Israeli airstrike. Video of one of the killed reporters has been released, and we want to warn you, some viewers may find it disturbing. It shows the journalist on a stretcher wearing a blue bulletproof vest labelled clearly press. According to the Hamas-controlled government media office, the reporters were covering the evacuation of a residential building in Gaza when they died in the airstrike. Officials say the third journalist who was with them sustained unspecified injuries and is currently receiving treatment. The European Union says aid for Palestinians will not be suspended following comments by one of its officials that funds will be halted. However, the agency says it is launching an urgent review of the assistance being sent to Palestinians. And for more, we want to go to CNN's Nada Bashir, who joins us live from London. Good morning to you again, Nada. So the EU backtracking on suspending Palestinian aid. What more are you learning about this?
Well, from the outset of Saturday's attack by Hamas on Israel, the EU and European leaders across the board have been vocal in condemning that attack, but also expressing their support and solidarity with Israel and with the Israeli government. And we heard yesterday initially from a European Commission official saying that funds, aid going towards Palestinians would be suspended in response to Saturday's attack by Hamas on Israel. But as you mentioned there, this has since been walked back by the European Union. We've heard from European Union officials in a statement saying that humanitarian funds for Palestinians will not be suspended. Now, there is a review ongoing into the overall programme of EU support and EU funding for Palestinians, but crucial aid that Palestinians, many of them across the board, particularly those in Gaza, are so dependent on, will continue, according to the European Union, as long as it is needed. And this will come as a relief, of course, for many, given the fact that we had yesterday from the Israeli Defense Minister, who announced a complete siege on Gaza, meaning no food, no fuel, and no electricity going into Gaza, and that, of course, has been condemned by the United Nations.
I'm deeply distressed by today's announcement that Israel will initiate a complete siege of the Gaza Strip, nothing allowed in, no electricity, food or fuel. The humanitarian situation in Gaza was extremely dire before these hostilities. Now it will only deteriorate exponentially.
Now, of course, you had that warning from the UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres. There is significant concern around the humanitarian situation overall in Gaza, particularly as Israel has vowed to intensify its military bombardment and airstrikes on the Gaza Strip. The IDF, the Israel Defense Forces, says it is targeting Hamas positions inside Gaza. But of course, it is important to look at the context here when we talk about the Gaza Strip. This is a densely populated small enclave that has been under a total blockade enforced by Israel since 2007. We're talking about an area home to some 2 million people. And as we have seen in past instances of Israeli airstrikes on Gaza, it is almost impossible to avoid civilian casualties. And the IDF has issued a warning telling civilians inside Gaza to evacuate those areas. But because Gaza is still under a blockade, there is almost nowhere safe for Palestinians to turn. We've heard from the UN Refugee Agency for Palestinians, which has said that more than 137,000 Palestinians in Gaza are now displaced, many of them taking shelter across UN schools, but many of those UN schools are now said to be reaching capacity. Rosemary?
And now the US, meantime, is increasing military support for Israel and doing it very quickly. What is the latest on this?
Well, look, much like the European Union, the US has from the outset been vocal in its support, staunch support for Israel, its solidarity, and of course in condemning Saturday's attack by Hamas on Israel. Now, CNN is learning from senior defense officials that the Biden administration will surge support with a particular focus on air defenses and ammunition. Now, as we understand it from US officials, there are still discussions ongoing around the particular needs of Israel when it comes to air defenses. Unclear where those talks stand at this current stage, but it was previously understood that Israel had requested interceptors for its Iron Dome air defense system. Now, of course, that Iron Dome air defense system has proven crucial in defending Israel against rockets fired by Hamas from Gaza for many, many years now. But it's not just on the military front that the US has pledged support. We've also heard from defense officials who have said that the US will be providing crucial support with ongoing efforts by Israel to locate and rescue Israeli citizens held hostage and captive by Hamas inside Gaza. Now, according to officials, that support will not come in the form of US boots on the ground, but rather will be in the form of surveillance, reconnaissance and intelligence support by US agencies. And of course, while it is unclear at this stage, according to the IDF, just how many Israeli citizens have been taken hostage, we have heard from the Israeli ambassador to the United Nations, who has said it is believed that between 100 and 150 Israeli citizens are currently being held hostage in Gaza, and there is real concern for their safety, not only their safety in terms of being caught up in the crossfire of Israeli airstrikes on Gaza, but of course their fate at the hands of their Hamas captors. We've heard those warnings yesterday from Hamas, saying that if Israel continues to strike civilian areas in Gaza without warning, Hamas will begin executing Israeli citizens held hostage, and that they will not engage in any negotiations or talks around the hostage situation while Gaza is still under fire.
Thanks to Nada Bashir joining us live from London there. Still to come, taken by Hamas militants, how one man is keeping hope alive after his sister was captured by militants at a music festival in Israel. Plus, how doctors in Israel are dealing with the influx of wounded civilians after the attack on Israel.
The Whole Story with Anderson Cooper is appointment viewing on Sunday nights. One whole story, one whole hour.
What are your biggest fears? The breaking of my brain is the concern.
You think you could have picked up a gun? You're a dog signal.
The world's best journalists dig deeper
I'm about to do something that I haven't done before.
into the stories they can't ignore.
Do you ever ask why police took so long?
Go in depth every Sunday night. The Whole Story with Anderson Cooper, Sunday at 8 on CNN.
I did have hearing aids from another company. I was just frustrated. I almost gave up. With Miracle Ear, it's all about service. They're personable, they're friendly. I'm very happy with them.
We provide you with a free lifetime of aftercare, meaning free checkups, cleanings, and adjustments.
I see someone new, someone happy. It's really made a difference.
Hear the world better during our limited time Sounds of Autumn event. Call 1-800-MIRACLE to test drive our hearing aids risk-free.
Do you struggle to fall asleep and stay asleep? Cunol Sleep Support has a unique blend of 5 key ingredients that can help you fall asleep faster, stay asleep longer, so you can wake up refreshed. Cunol, the brand I trust.
I was stuck. Unresolved depression symptoms were in my way. I needed more from my antidepressant. Vraylar helped give it a lift.
Adding Vraylar to an antidepressant is clinically proven to help relieve overall depression symptoms better than an antidepressant alone. And in Vraylar clinical studies, most saw no substantial impact on weight. Elderly dementia patients have increased risk of death or stroke, report unusual changes in behavior or suicidal thoughts. Antidepressants can increase these in children and young adults, report fever, stiff muscles, or confusion, as these may be life-threatening, or uncontrolled muscle movements, which may be permanent. High blood sugar, which can lead to coma or death, weight gain, and high cholesterol may occur. Movement dysfunction and restlessness are common side effects. Stomach and sleep issues, dizziness, increased appetite, and fatigue are also common. Side effects may not appear for several weeks.
I didn't have to change my treatment. I just gave it a lift.
Ask about Vraylar and learn how AbbVie can help you save.
Hamas threatening to execute its hostages taken from Israel. A song by Paul Beckman, Polly Rainbow Song. Also the new and first leader of humankind in the free world. Created October 10th, 2023. Hamas threatening to execute its hostages taken from Israel. If Israel does not meet its demands, it will start pronto. Hamas never should have done what it did in the first place, a massacre of human beings in Israel. Now it wants to try and take no blame at all. Keep things as they were, yeah. Saying, don't attack. The place where Palestinians live. Get out of there. If you don't, we'll start to execute our hostages we took from Israel. We nabbed against their will. We'll begin to oxidize, so to speak, their life force from them still by executing them live on TV, beheading them, or whatever savage barbarian act they want to use to kill them. Bad, bad Hamas. You're despicable. Bad, bad Hamas. You're despicable. Absolutely despicable for what you've done, and are you threatening to execute your hostages, perhaps everyone.
She's a jewelry designer. She had a stand there in the music festival, in the peaceful music festival. Then the attack happened. She ran away with her friends. She managed to call my father, and my parents managed to call her, and she told them that she's being shot at, and that there are many people running away, and she's losing her battery. The last time we heard about her from her, it was at 8:30 in the morning. Later on, me, my friends and family, we discovered that she ran away with friends. They split it up during that time because they were shot from all directions and they had to split up. And the last time she split up from someone, that's the last time we know where she was. He got saved and he called us and gave us all the information regarding this, what happened. And that's it. That's the last contact that we know about my sister, my baby sister.
And how difficult has it been to get information about your sister? Have Israeli authorities been keeping you abreast of what's happening here with the hostages?
Well, we went to the authorities, we gave them everything we had. We tried to be as helpful as we could. They were also operative and were glad to take all the information and start to do something with it, but we didn't get a response since. But we and my friends try to search the internet and find as many clues as we can, and we find 2 movies that shows that her with a few terrorists, show my sister with few terrorists in the field, and that's actually the last thing we know about her. Since then, we have no more information about her.
It is such a nightmare for you and your family, I know. What would you like to tell us about your sister Moran?
Well, she was a very happy person, a loving person. She always loved to help other people. She loved to have animals. She was working in the rescue. As a volunteer, of course. She's always, very peaceful, very peaceful person, very loving person, lots of friends, lots of family. Everybody loves her. She's a great person indeed. So it's, which makes it even harder.
Of course, and how much faith do you have that your government and the IDF will be able to bring your sister and all the other hostages out of Gaza safely?
Well, I trust them. I hope that they will manage to bring them back home alive. I think that I'm asking and demanding from the international community to help us bring back all these people, all these innocent people that were captured and took as prisoner, to bring them back as safe as possible, as soon as possible. And that's the only thing that I'm focusing on right now, trying to tell the story and trying to make people understand and help us bring them back home alive, because we are worrying, but we're not losing faith. We want to bring them back, and we're doing all these actions to help as much as we can to do that.
I think for all of us watching, it's hard to understand how you and your family can hold it together in the midst of this. It is a nightmare, clearly. How do you do that?
We're worrying, but we're not losing faith. No, no, no. No, no, no. We're worrying, but we're not losing faith. No, no, no. No, no, no. Oh. Yes, we're concerned about our loved ones who've been taken hostage, most likely. Such precious ones. But even though we're worrying and we're worried, we're not losing faith. We're not losing faith. No, 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 no. We're not losing faith.
The hospitals in Israel are busy carrying out the overwhelming work of treating those wounded in Hamas's attacks. But some worry the situation could worsen.